Howdy everyone. So today is a stunningly beautiful day after a bad thunderstorm last night. Well, bad or good depending on how you look at it, but this is undoubtedly one of my most favorite scenes or viewpoints rather at the farm. We just turned the horses out on this new pasture, and we've got, well, a few of them are down over the hill, but we've got Charlie here, Cutter, True, and Whiskey, and then down over the hill are the rest. We've got Shakespeare, Wyatt, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Who am I missing? Shakespeare, Wyatt, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah, Trixie. Trixie is actually not in the pasture right now because she's with her family, and they're riding right now. So anyway, the rest of them are down there. But what I wanted to do today was answer a question that I received from someone who is having an issue with their mare not liking people. Apparently she's really good under saddle or being ridden, but she does not like people at all. And the question is in reference to how to deal with a mare who basically doesn't like people. So the first thing I would recommend for that mare would be to do a lot of groundwork, okay? Groundwork is something that you are doing on the ground. You are not under saddle. We already know that the horse is okay under saddle, but it sounds to me like the horse is not really okay or hasn't really developed a trust level or an appreciation level for people. So what I would do in that instance is I would spend a lot of time on the ground with that horse, okay? And I would do things that the horse enjoys, such as grooming. I have never met a horse yet who does not like to be groomed. They love to be brushed. They love to be scratched. They love to have all this, dead hair brushed off of them. They really enjoy it. It's kind of like a massage for them. And when I first met my horse Shakespeare, he had been severely abused. And he did not like people. He honestly wanted nothing to do with people. He had no connections. He had no desire to hang with you. He was just like, look, put me out in the field and leave me alone. Don't mess with me. Don't touch me. Don't come near me. He was very distrustful, and I had to work with him for months and months and months and months before I could get him to really trust me and actually want to come to me, okay? And how did I do that? I did that through grooming him. Every single day, I spent a minimum of 30 minutes grooming that horse and, curry combing him, brushing him, letting him relax into it, letting him get used to my hands, letting him get used to my energy. So that is a tremendous way to bond with a horse. Now, some people will say, oh, just give them treats. I am going to say, do not do that, okay? And the reason for that is there's nothing wrong with treats, folks, but what I have found is I want my horses to trust me whether or not I have a treat in my hand or not. I mean, will these guys all come running right now if I jiggle like a carrot bag or something and they hear that bag and they know that I've got some goodies to give them? Of course they will. But then what's going to happen is the minute they're done with those carrots, they're just going to be like, oh yeah, okay, I'm done with you, human, and they're going to go right back off to whatever it is that they were doing. I mean, mine won't now because my horses actually have a relationship with me. But if you're trying to bribe your horse, that's not going to work. So I'm not a big, supporter, if you will, of a bunch of treats, just because I just find it, to be very subjective. They'll come to get the treats, but that doesn't mean you're really developing a bond with them. Now, having said that, what you might want to do is when you are finished with your grooming session and you go to put them back out in the pasture or something like that, if you want to give them a carrot at that point in time, I don't see anything wrong with that at all, but I would not lead with that, okay? The other thing you can do is work with a trainer, or if you don't have a trainer, then you can do groundwork on your own. And that could look like putting them in a round pen, trying to do a join up exercise with them. And if you don't know what that is, you can simply go to YouTube and you can Google, like join up with my horse, or round pen exercises with my horse, or groundwork, simple groundwork exercises with my horse. Sorry, I'm trying to block this wind. It's very windy right now. But groundwork is critically important for developing a relationship and trust with your horses. So after I worked with grooming the mare for, like every day or as much as you can, then I would kind of integrate that with groundwork, and that can be something as simple as haltering the horse, asking them to back up while on the halter, walking them around, hand grazing them, anything you can do to develop a good positive situation with that horse, especially hand grazing. That's another thing I did with Shakespeare a lot, was I would just have him on his halter. I would take him out of the pasture, away from the other horses. I would find a really good patch of grass like this, and I would just let him hand graze, because he was attached to me. He knew that I was there with him. I was guiding him around, and I was taking him to the really good patches of grass that none of the other horses could get to. So like in his mind, he thought, oh, this is great. I'm getting something, it's kind of like the kid with the cookie jar. So that's another really good option for you. Another thing though that I do want to mention here is you are going to need to have some type of a protection for yourself. If you have like a flag, I don't know if you've ever worked with a flag with a horse. If not, please Google it. You can go on Amazon and you can get a flag for like $10. It's just a pole with a little, cloth flag at the end of it that gives you some boundary protection. If that horse did for some reason become aggressive, you've got a little bit of, you can kind of wave that flag and say, hey, back off a little bit. But I'm going to caution you on that. If your horse is not accustomed to a flag, then you really need to work up to that. I mean, don't just get the horse on a lead rope and then whip out a flag, because you could scare them to death. They can rear. So you need to know your horse, and I don't know your horse. So, it's rather difficult for me to give you 100% on this advice, but I would always work on desensitization with your horses. And again, you can watch all kinds of YouTube videos about that. I mean, there's tons of free knowledge out there, and I can't cover it all in this one video. But I am creating an online course that will be very affordable for folks. So I'm working on that as we speak, but it's a lot of data to cover, and pictures and images and such. So we're getting the course material together, and that will be available. But in the meantime, Shakespeare's trotting a little bit. In the meantime, you can certainly watch these on YouTube. So just for that mare, your biggest thing is you've got to develop trust with her, and you want that mare to like you more than, speaking of mares, there's mine right there. You want that mare to want to be with you and to trust you. It's just like True right now. This is a perfect example. I am standing in a massive field here, folks. I mean, a huge field. And True was way back there, and she just decided to walk up and stand right behind me. Now, she could stand anywhere in this field, but she came up to me because she just wants to, be here and stand close to me. And that is that's a great sign. She could be anywhere, but she just wants to hang out. So, anyway, and I did walk up to Whiskey, but you can see they're not running away from me. They're kind of hanging out. So if this was a mare that didn't want to be with me, she could easily trot all the way across the field. Now I think she's going to follow Whiskey because he's heading that way, and she's in heat right now, and she and Whiskey are buddied up. Yeah, there she goes. You'll be able to tell if they're running from you, or if if they're not interested in being with you, you know, they have an energy about them where they just take off, you know, they don't want anything to do with you. But, and same deal, like you should be able to at any point, so I'm going to walk across this big field here. You should be able to at any point walk up to any horse, or walk up ideally to your horse. I mean, I'm not saying do this to any horse, but like I can approach any horse in this pasture. Hi, Cutter. Hello, sweet boy. That's Cutter. This is Whiskey. Hello, darling. Hello, darling. You know, here's Charlie. Hey, son. Hi, beautiful boy. Hi, beautiful boy. And then, of course, we've got Wyatt and Shakespeare, and you guys already know they're my horses, so we're not going to have any problem with that. But, you know, if your horse is running from you in the pasture, then these are things that you need to work on. You know, do some groundwork with them, do some grooming with them, you know, do some flag work with them. Hello, sunshine. And, you know, just make yourself a person that horse actually wants to spend some time with. You know, sit with them, talk to them, hand graze them, spend time with them. Make yourself likable, folks. Don't just get on them, ride them, and throw them back out in the pasture. Because, I mean, think about what that means to them. They see a human being coming, and all they know is that somebody's going to toss a saddle on them. They're going to ask them to do a bunch of work, and then they're going to take them and they're going to toss them back out in the field. I mean, if I were a horse, I probably wouldn't like that either. I mean, it's like your boss coming, grabbing you out of your nice warm bed, or when you're sitting in your backyard with a lemonade. They're grabbing you, they're throwing you in the car, they're making you work, and then they're basically just, you know, dropping you back off at your house, without pay, mind you. So, you know, that's as close of an analogy as I can think of. But if your boss in turn came, picked you up, asked you to do some work, and then treated you to a really nice dinner and gave you a nice bonus, or, you know, whatever, then you might feel a little bit more appreciated, and you might say, hey, yeah, this isn't too bad. Like, I can deal with this. So you just have to kind of put yourself in their situation and think about how it affects them. Hello, darling. Hello, darling boy. There's my Cutter. He's such a good boy. So there you have it. I don't want this video to get too crazy, but I hope that those things help you. And please do Google Groundwork, Google working with a flag with horses, and check those things out to make sure that you can keep yourself safe. But good luck, and thank you for the question.